We were the ones who told you about the chemtrails and the organized stalking and the police corruption, the directed energy weapons, and all those super space technologies with the nanotechnology and the Internet of Things and the bio-internet of things and Internet of bio-nano things and all the other gay stuff that they're doing with DARPA N3 and your tax money that you don't want to ask questions about. We were the ones who told you about all that. Now, here's the funny part. These programs, some of them have gone on for 70 years, some of them have gone on for 20 years, depending on the technology. Are most of you over 70 years old? I don't think so. But you're still not caught up to the thing that we told you about years ago. You're still retarded. You know what I mean? Because all the information's there, and it's been 5 years, and you're still retarded. So, you know. But I'm going to tell you what happens next, too, because you're still fucking retarded. And, you know, you're not going to listen anyway, and I'm just going to watch it happen. And I'm like, yeah, we told you that was going to happen. So here's what's going to happen next. It's hard to predict the future, so I want to be careful about how I say this. The truth is going to continue to come out in such a way that you're going to look even more retarded than you look right now. You're going to think that you were standing on moral grounds and principles when really you were backing the corporation in the belly of the beast. And you're probably going to be ostracized for that, right? I mean, you might be welcomed into their fucking pedophile, child-eating, cannibal club or whatever the fuck, right? You might be welcomed into their subservient, slave, whatever. I mean, we're all there anyway right now as it stands. But, it's like there's going to be this divide and come together moment at the same time. That's what I think. I don't know that. I don't know anything, right? I'm talking about the future. So I don't know anything. But I do think that the people who are continuing to ignore the truth right now, and the people who just are lying for a paycheck, you're somehow, seemingly, you're going to look even more retarded than you look right now. What do I know? What did Prince know? What did Michael Jackson know? We could talk about my case a little bit, because I think that the family courts, it's all tied in together. And people are like, oh, just talk on one topic. I talk about this, and then you're all the way over here. Have you fucking seen Jeffrey Epstein's org chart? Are you kidding me? Seriously, maybe that's what we should do. Start making org charts for these fucking things. Because when you look at the TinyTap app, tell me it's not all connected, by the way. Does anyone know what the TinyTap app is? That's an app for your kids. Why is the TinyTap app in the Jeffrey Epstein file? Why is Jeffrey Epstein working on apps for kids? I mean, that should be an obvious answer, right? Because they've been working on mind programming techniques for over 70 years in detailed fact, and a lot of those have to do with vaccines. Oh, you didn't know that? Why? Because you think it's a conspiracy and you don't know how to read? Oh, yep, that's you being retarded right now. So you can look up TinyTap in the Jeffrey Epstein files, and you can ask yourself a bunch of questions why Jeffrey Epstein was working on an app for kids. That is, by the way, TinyTap is functioning right now. Go look it up. Yes, you fucking retard. Oh, I know, he's so mean. What a jerk. Go look it up, TinyTap. Right, and then you got... I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to try to tie it all in together. Like, I think I'm just going to talk about things, and you guys are going to do the work yourselves. That's what I think. Because you got fusion centers, right? Now, from personal experience, I can tell you that the police show up at my house or wherever I live in 5 minutes, wherever I am, like 5 minutes. If they want to find me, it's happened multiple times. I've called the FBI, told those guys to put, their whole fucking department on suicide watch because, they're all corrupt as shit or whatever. Less than 5 minutes later, I got, I don't know if it was an undercover and a local police. I had like 2 guys outside the door. 5 minutes. That's for me. That's for me for calling the FBI to tell them to put their whole department on suicide watch. You know what I mean? You mean to tell me that they can't find billionaires who are trafficking kids and they have like the most sophisticated technology in the world, both on both ends? You know what I mean? And these people can't. Oh wait, they're working together. Wait, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. But what do they do with the fusion centers? And billions of dollars every year to the 80 fusion centers in the United States of America, of Israel, of Redactica. What are they doing with all those fusion centers that are run by the FBI and the state police or the state police, depending on the state? What are they doing with all that information? Because they can find me in 5 minutes on repeat. Okay, that wasn't the only time that's happened before. Okay, I was in fucking like Derby area. I don't know. I stopped to like take a leak by a bridge. Some fucking cop showed up. I was with my buddy. You know what I mean? Like I literally stopped to take a piss. This was probably 10 years ago or so. Stopped to take a piss and fucking officers right there. I literally cannot stop to take a piss without getting harassed by a police officer. But they can't find all these people in these high profile positions who are running companies, organizations, sometimes towns. They can't find them. Isn't that weird? So you have law enforcement that's corrupt across the board. And if you think it's only this country, you're still retarded. So again, pose the question, what are they doing with the money, the billions and billions of dollars that are going towards the fusion centers? If you understand the capabilities of the fusion centers, that the most elite law enforcement in the world has access to the most technologically advanced systems, right? What are they doing with that information? Yeah. And then we can look at the Pentagon audits. But before we look at the last consecutive 8 Pentagon audits that failed, right, because they're not telling us where trillions and trillions of dollars are going to. They're not telling us where all of that money is going to. And it's so funny to hear people talk about, oh, Ukraine and Israel and billions, and these people want millions and billions of dollars for U.S. support. It could be internal, it could be external, nonprofit, whatever. And people are focused on millions and billions when the Pentagon is responsible for trillions and trillions. And like, I was a C student. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck are we even talking about? Why are we focused on millions? It's just retarded. And so you know, retarded means to slow down or to slow the progress up. So anyone sitting there being like, oh, retarded means Down syndrome, you're retarded. It does not. Like, So we got fusion centers, we got the TinyTap app, we got the Pentagon audits. I don't know. I mean, at this point, you might as well just look up Dr. Robert Duncan, Karen Melton Stewart, organized stalking, neural weapons, voice to skull, voice of God, electromagnetic frequency weapons, behavior modification, social credit score, Agenda 2030, the World Economic Forum, the global standardization of biodigital convergence, the IEEE, the IEC. Because it is all connected. How do you think this works, right? It's with they've programmed us our whole lives. That's why it's hard for people. Because from education and entertainment, everything that you read in the news, everything you saw on TV, all of those songs, those frequencies, oh man, we got to have that conversation, don't we? Those frequencies, right, from the songs, the vibration, this is harmonic sound fucking torture, because they're programming your subconscious to, so you don't have any values and you care about money, right? And if you care about money and other people's perceptions, it's really easy to take your values away, right? Because if you're just distracted and you're focused on the wrong things, then you don't really care about your family. You say that you do. You say that you care about your family, but you're ignorant because you don't know what they're doing with the technology. You don't know what they're doing under the skin. You don't know what's in the air, water, and food. And if you do, you don't really care enough to open your mouth and say something about it. So how much do you really care? That's manufactured consent. If we're all just silent and they keep doing what they're doing and we're aware of it, that's manufactured consent because we're going along with their program without objection. I object. Yeah, everybody in the country complaining about the family courts, right? There's a reason why Pfizer didn't want to release, certain information for 70 years, because it's all connected, right? It's all the big businesses. There's no line between government and corporate. They are financial business partners. The best examples of that are probably like Google and Facebook, probably Twitter, right? Is it Matt Taibbi and the Twitter reports, right? I mean, he did a good job of highlighting the fact that the intelligence agencies can, basically do and say whatever they want with the big social media platforms, right? I'm personally permabanned on Twitter and LinkedIn. I'll never have those accounts back. And you see it with the censorship. The thing that they fear the most is the exposure. So anyone like Seth Rich or I don't know, Brandy Vaughn, right? Obvious people like MLK and JFK, but there's been a lot of people like Ann Hesh. Anyone who gets close to the truth, they kind of disappear, is what the pattern looks like. And so, they have a lot of different ways to retaliate against the person, right? They have a smear campaign. They could take something embarrassing about your life and put it out of context so that you look like a monster. They own the media. They can do and say whatever they want. Blackball you from an industry. Worst case scenario is they just, remove you from the equation. And I think it's been, clear time and time again. Like, look at David Crowley. Oh, it's a murder-suicide. Is it? Because Gray State certainly seems like the guy knew what he was talking about, and maybe certain people didn't want that information to come out. And why was there, like, I don't know, was it Israeli writing or some different type of language writing on the walls when they said that he killed himself? Like, a lot of things just don't make sense. And when you got the police who have all the technology and the capabilities to figure out these crimes if they really wanted to, and we can see that they've been doing the exact opposite to cover up these crimes for the people who are in the highest positions of power. And in some cases, those people in the highest positions of law enforcement and military are the ones covering this up. It's a hard thing to wrap your mind around, how so many people can work together seamlessly to obfuscate the truth and keep us in the dark. But the encouraging part about all this is that a lot of you know everything that I just said. I didn't tell you anything new. I doubt there's anything that I just said that sounds new to you at this point. And that's encouraging, because 10 years ago, no shot. Wouldn't have connected with anyone. Oh, by the way, shout out to all the feds who are listening right now. You're all pieces of shit. And everybody knows it. All you can do is lie and hide and lie about me and people like me. Not that there's anyone really like me, but just lie about people, because that's all you can do, because you want to hide the fact that you're a bunch of pedophile protectors. Yes, we all know. What else? We need a full stop. Like, everybody needs to just hit the pause button, and we need to have a family meeting and all talk about this, because going on every day like nothing's happening, it's not normal. You know it's not normal, and I know it's not normal. Ignoring these elephants in the room, all these societal problems that are plaguing us, that we are literally paying for with our tax dollars. You guys, I don't pay taxes. And they aren't using our tax money anyway because they're printing money anyway. However, if we don't ignore this, it is our fault, because we are the responsible adults in the room. And you might think, oh, I'm one person, what can I do? No, you are all powerful. You are of God. All of us are. And we're all connected. Physiologically, biologically. We're at the cellular level, we are all connected. That's why they have all their cell phone networks connected and set up. And that's why they connected everybody to the cloud. Because we're already all connected. They just tapped into that, right? They used our own electromagnetic frequency, because we are electrical beings. They used our own electromagnetic frequency. They tapped into it. They connected us all to the grid, and they're manipulating that, right? I mean, do you remember that Batman movie where Jim Carrey was like taking that thing, and it had to do with the TVs, and he just stuck it to his pineal gland, and it was like feeding the... I mean, that was your visual representation of what they've been working on for 70 years, right? And now they have better technology. That's all it is. You know, they're more precise. Maybe they can control the mind from being in the womb until you're an adult much more efficiently, with much more control. I don't know. If we ignore it, it will get worse. Just think about it like this: how quickly the technology advances. And you're like, yay, this is great. My apps work so much better, and this function is so much easier, or the user interface is so much better, or whatever. And, technology should be a tool, like, if we decide to keep it around, but we should have the choice, whether or not we keep technology around. It shouldn't be this assumed thing that every time our phone gets an upgrade, our bodies get an upgrade too. Right? We should have a say in that. At least it should be a conversation, especially if we are on paper paying for it with all of their programs and stuff that we didn't really consent to. They just kind of, like Connecticut, they had their state meeting at the Capitol at 2 a.m. They didn't consult anyone. They passed all these laws, drinking and butt fucking each other in the building there. And, you wake up the next morning and, I don't know, the state's paying for your transgender surgery or whatever the fuck we didn't approve of, right? We're going to need some more lighters. It's not my fault I'm stressed out. They won't let me see my kid. So, going back to the courts. They want to divide the family unit. That's why everybody in the country has a problem with the family courts right now. But it's not just the family courts, it's all the courts, because the courts protect the businesses. Oh, right? And that makes sense too, because they pass laws to protect themselves, right? We were talking about FISA before. They didn't, and I think it's not just Pfizer, it's maybe the other companies too, probably didn't want to release certain information. If it wasn't from this round of vaccines, I'm sure it was from other stuff. They didn't want to release information for however many years. And so they make the laws to protect themselves so that they are not liable. But even still, when they have to pay out billions and billions of dollars in lawsuits, that's just a cost of doing business. Rule number 1 of any business is protect your investment. Right? So they're protected. The corporations are protected. The CEOs are protected because they just get the fucking settlement agreements from the lawyers who probably bully the shit out of the victims, probably threaten their fucking lives. You know what I mean? Sign this, we'll give you $1 million. You can never talk about it. If you do, I don't know, we'll kill you. But they don't put that part in writing. Maybe they do. Who the fuck knows? What I do know is that people are not going to shut up until this gets fixed. And that's wonderful, because that is correct. We will keep talking about the things that are wrong because we are the responsible adults in the room. The people who were appointed to their positions of power, either voted, elected, or otherwise, have failed the people. Not just failed the people, they have worked in an underhanded manner, in an organized way, to deceive, to steal, to cheat. It's treason. They need to be held accountable. And as we can see, they're not going to hold themselves accountable. So it's on us to call out the corruption in pointed fact and detail, so that it's so obvious that nobody can ignore it, that we have to talk about it, right? Because if everyone has a clear foundational understanding of what has been, and we can clearly articulate the problems that we're facing, and we can point to patterns and documents and disclosures and previous litigation and findings that prove, that show in fact and detail the corruption of all these entities, and we show it to them right in front of their face, all of us, at the same time, the truth that they can't ignore, then what? They have to lie, and they have to sound delusional, and they have to sound like they have mental health problems, instead of telling all the people who are telling the truth that they have mental health problems, right?